Warning, you are about to watch footynutguy. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hi everyone and welcome to my latest video. Sorry my recent videos have been a bit boring, what with me talking about my migraine and my hospital appointments, but they finally found the right tablets for me and my migraines are right down. I still get the odd ones, but you know, hopefully things are looking up for me. The bad thing for you guys though is I'm going to be making a lot more videos from now on. Now, I know what you're doing, you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh God, do you have to? Yeah, well, I'm afraid I do. And one of the good things that it's allowed me to do, well, you know how much I love gatherings. Well, Saturday just gone, I finally went to my first one in London in ages. Finally. And basically you may have heard of the Vlog Brothers and a girl called Esther Earl who died in 2010 of cancer, and John and Hank Green decided that from then on her birthday, August the 3rd, would forever be known as Esther Day. And as it fell on a Saturday this year, I decided to organise a gathering in Jubilee Gardens, and it was pretty interesting. We had some people flying over from Sydney, Australia, somewhere in Sweden and somewhere in Germany. Well, we think they flew over especially for it, but they did claim they were actually in the country anyway. Maybe, I don't know. And you may have heard of Stephen Richmond. I've spoken to you about him a few times. Basically, he's a nerd fighter. And for 3 years now, he's been saying he's going to make a movie about Nerdfighteria. And we're still waiting. And as it's my job on these occasions, I reminded him about this. And he wasn't too happy. Well, you can imagine, can't you? But then again, it is my job. I am the oldest bloke on the planet. So, well, Nerdfighter anyway. I feel like the oldest bloke on the planet. But you may have heard of Stephen Richmond for another reason. He tells a story, and it's just not a story about anything. It's actually a story that's good. Like, you know, may tell all these stupid jokes, but he actually tells a good story. And at the gathering, I finally managed to catch it on video, and I thought, you've got to hear this story, so I'll shut up now and I'll let him do all the talking.
So, back when I was in school, and I was a sixth former, so we were in the sixth form centre for this story. It all makes complete sense.
I can't believe this is insane! It's blowing my mind!
So, the way that my school was, and this might seem like an unnecessary detail at the start of the story, but it's important to know. So imagine a building, then imagine a playground, and then imagine a second building with a tower with a flagpole. Right?
Oh God.
So as you can imagine, one of those buildings is quite tall and has a flagpole.
Building is tall?
And that's important to know because this story starts with a thunderstorm. So there was a thunderstorm, and at this point I'd like to mention that my head teacher was a physics teacher, which again will be important in a moment. So there's a thunderstorm, there's lightning, there's thunder, it's all very exciting, it's right over the school. Now there had been thunderstorms before and nobody had freaked out that much, but for some reason, this particular thunderstorm, the whole staff went mental. They were completely obsessed with the idea that if anyone went outside, they would be hit by lightning and die. Now I remind you that they're right next to a building with a tower with a flagpole. If lightning hit something, chances are, anyway. Well done. So, in the storm last night, Kate is my flatmate. In the storm last night, there was genuinely, the lightning had passed, so she flicked on and off the outside light and made the lightning sound.
I'm really disappointed in the lack of lightning.
So anyway, so we're at school and there's a thunderstorm going on. Everyone is inside, there are prefects on the doors, it's like Harry Potter, it's like, you know, nobody's allowed in. Meanwhile, we're across the road in the sixth form centre, and we're also stuck inside. And everyone being sixth formers and being like, you know, 17, 18, they don't want to look as though they're scared of thunder. But they're sort of a little bit nervous every time the thunder goes off. So everyone kind of jumps a little bit but pretends they're not. And the way that this really manifests is people just talk very quietly and like amongst themselves in small huddled groups, as though they're sitting there like, soon the end will come, we will all die. And they're just there and they're huddled and they're quiet, and there's a really tense atmosphere. And this is where my friend Ian comes in. And Ian, I think, would best be described by saying he's Ian, and
he is unreasonably attractive as a human being. He's really hot, bear that in mind.
he is very pretty, but it doesn't relate to the story.
It is always important to know how hot Ian is.
He's also good at everything. Anyway, so Ian decides that the atmosphere is just too tense, and he needs to do something about it. And then because he's Ian, he tries to break the tension the only way he really knows how. He kind of leaps up into what I can only really describe as kind of Elvis Presley style pose. Something like this. And then he screams at the top of his lungs, "I'm the god of lightning!" What's great about this is that exact moment, I swear to God, a lightning bolt hits the tree outside the window. There is the loudest thunderclap you have ever heard. People scream, people leap under tables, the only person left standing is Ian. And that's what kittens screaming sound like. And the only person left standing is Ian, hand on a hip, hand in the air, god of lightning. And you might think that's awesome, right? You might think that is the best thing that could ever happen to you. He said he was the god of lightning and then lightning happened. Like, he is legitimately a god. And you'd be right, but actually this is a sad story, and let me tell you why. Because if you think about it, that is the best moment of his life. Like, he's 24 now, so he's got a lot of his life ahead of him. But that was the best moment. It would, like, I don't know what's going to happen to him, but I know it won't beat that. His whole life from that point onwards is just a downhill slope. Like, he's done cool things afterwards. He's dating an absolutely lovely girl. He has a reasonably well-paying job. Like, he very nearly got to work at CERN, but then they ran out of money, so they cancelled all the internships. But anyway, but even if he had worked at CERN, he dated my sister at one point, and most older brothers, your job apparently is to go, "Don't you dare date my sister. No one must ever date my sister, for I have an older brother, and older brothers must be angry about this by some kind of cultural law." Anyway, but my response wasn't that. My response was like, my sister's alright, but she's not going to be as good as that time that you got a lightning.
If his life satisfaction was a graph, it would be a lightning bolt.
It's true. And like, yeah, so that's why it's a sad story, so you should all feel sorry for Ian. End story.
Can I provide more context? Ian is still super hot, has a wonderful, lovely, beautiful girlfriend, has a wonderful job, and Stephen's just jealous. That's why it's a downhill story from here on.
No, it's because he was god of lightning and now he's not.
That was an interesting story, wasn't it? Stephen's made a career out of that story, going around gatherings and telling it. Next gathering you go to, everyone's like, "Stephen, tell us the story, or we want to hear the story." So he has to go and tell the story again. God. It's a good story, like, but, you know, I wish I had one to beat it. Closest I can get to was like in the late 80s or early 90s, I think it was. And watching the Ben Eubank boxing match in the pub, getting drunk and go, "Oh, listen, go on, that's what your fists are for, listen." And then at the end of the match, it was like a draw, and everyone's down, and I goes, "Oh God, I bet the gods won't be happy about that." And at that minute, there was a massive clap of thunder, and I said, "Told you," and everyone started laughing, but somehow, I don't think I'm going to have a story as good as Ian's, am I? No, it's not as good at all. So what I was wondering is, can anyone beat that story? If you can, let me know in the comments the story, or if you like, make a video response. I bet I won't get any video responses out of this because no one can beat it, but it's worth a try, and you'll see what happens. And you know, if you want, I'll feature the story in a future video, because I've got to have something interesting in my videos now, haven't I? So you can't exactly beat that, so might as well shut up now and I'll end it here and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra!
You've been watching Footy Nut Guy, which makes you nuts.